In studio, as we continue our focus on education, next week is Catholic Schools Week, and it begins this weekend. We have Principal Maria Byrd from St. Joseph's. Good morning.
Good morning.
Principal, how are you?
Great. How is everybody out there? I hope everyone is safe today.
We are doing well, thank you. Deacon Michel here, too. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. And the same, I hope everybody's warm and safe.
Well, we hopefully as well. And if you know someone who's having some troubles, by the way, make sure you help them out in their home. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly and those who need special care.
Yes.
Principal Byrd, first and foremost, can I get an update on you regarding the high school?
Absolutely. I brought just the right company. We are in a very good place right now, and I'll let Deacon, I'm going to forward this to Deacon Michel because he has been leading the efforts. And we do have an update on staffing and on the plans of location, and I'll let him tell us more.
So our high school is going to be located on our campus in the what's now the middle school. We'll be shifting around classes and building an extension onto our pre-K building to help with that. And that will cause us to have the space to do the 8, 9, and 10 in the middle school. We've gotten some very good response from our parents. The nice thing about Catholic School Week is now we'll be able to open up our registration to kids outside of our schools, the Catholic schools. So any student that is interested in a different high school experience or wants to have our Catholic / highly academic experience can come and join our community. We're very welcoming and very open to all students.
When do you begin the high school?
Enrollment opens on January 31st, and the building is ready. So we're just going to move 6th and 7th grade out of the building to receive 9 and 10.
So the actual high school year is going to start this coming school year,
right.
25, 26.
This fall, correct, I'm sorry.
Right.
Gotcha. No, you were both correct in your answers.
Yeah.
And I never correct a principal. I learned going to Catholic school.
Yeah, no, she left her ruler at home.
Yeah.
She's all right.
These arthritic knuckles know.
I don't know why. Why do the children cry before they enter the office? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's the stories that we tell.
That's right.
I think so. Their parents, they help us. Yes.
I went to Catholic grade school all the way up to 8th grade.
Well, I didn't go to Catholic school. I grew up in Charlestown in the 50s, and St. Joe had a high school then.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Are you going to go clear through grade 12?
Yes.
Okay, and that opens in January 31st, you say?
Well, the
This-
registration
Next
opens for it's in January 31st.
Oh, but that would be for a fall opening?
That'll be for
Fall,
August. We open in August, like what the public schools do.
Right,
Got-
right.
Okay.
Same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly, what kind of enrollment do you anticipate in the high school?
What we did this year, just so we could make sure that we can get our bearings, we're going to cap the freshman and sophomore classes at 30.
Okay.
So, and we're almost halfway there.
Yep.
And so the slots are going quickly. We want to make sure that folks that are interested should register their children sooner rather than later, because once we hit those marks, we're going to close it.
So you're only going to go through grade 10 this year?
Right. And then,
I see, and then they would move on to 11 and then 12.
11
I see what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
And now we have a really great partnership with both Shepherd University and Blue Ridge Community College. So our students...
In what way?
Well, our students will be able to earn degrees from both institutions. And in the case of Shepherd, they can do the fine arts, the dance, as well as the really high-powered academic work, if that's what they're into. If they're more into the technical end of things, they can head to Blue Ridge. And they can do work from there. We're creating a distance learning room in our school, so students don't have to even leave the school to be able to participate in the classes, which will be very helpful. But they can also, in their 11th and 12th grade year, they can go onto the campuses as well. Like, for example, Blue Ridge has fantastic labs, technical labs, that cost millions of dollars to create. I am not doing that. And they're only a mile away from us.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense
Right.
to invest in something like that when you have such a great educational institution literally right down the road.
So how will that work in regards to costs? Does the school cover that?
The school covers that, and West Virginia is wonderful about these things. There's a pathway system that they've created with all the different universities and community colleges. If a student chooses to take the particular pathways that they're promoting, so in medicine and technology and business, I'm forgetting some of the others, but there's a whole myriad of ones they can choose from. They're absolutely free. So there's no cost to the student or the school if they take those particular pathways and they take those classes in those approved institutions.
Will you be doing any sports programs?
Oh, yeah.
initially? Okay.
Oh yeah, obviously we're starting small, so
Yeah.
and sports is driven by numbers.
Right. Sure.
So we'll do smaller things: volleyball, probably basketball, track. Right. Our athletic person, Vic Lupus, is talking about doing a golf team, possibly
Tennis.
Tennis. So things like that to start. Our ultimate goal is to do like soccer and things like that.
Okay.
I've been getting pushed to do, if we get enough children eventually, that I'm talking 5 years away, of doing football, but I was a school
That's expensive.
Oh, I was a school superintendent for 33 years in New York, and I know how much football costs, though
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. But it costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive sport from
Yeah.
a lot of different angles, too.
Yeah.
Deacon Pat Michel and Principal Maria Byrd from St. Joe's are with us this morning. Yesterday, there was another school incident, this time in Nashville, when we
yes.
were just talking to James Paul about charter schools
Very
and how they're handling
unfortunate.
security. How are you handling it at St. Joe's?
Yes, and I'm glad you asked. 2 years ago, we formed a safety and security committee, and we are blessed to have parent experts. Captain Dole heads this committee. He is, with the Martinsburg Police Department, and we have put a few things in place. Right now, we are expecting to include a vestibule and extra walls and key fob doors to have men traps in the front and the back of our buildings. And we already have the agreement that's coming up. Last year, we put some film on our glass on all of our exterior doors. We put coverings. The first year I was at St. Joseph, because you could see our children from the sidewalk. You could see them walking, and on Queen Street, you're right there by the sidewalk on both East Stevens Street and Queen Street. So we have covering with religious images. So it has beautified the campus, but it has also prevent outsiders from seeing where our children are at any given time. We have been implementing a new protocol. We use I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's called I Love You Guys Foundation, and they have a wonderful protocol that I know one of our dads implemented in Jefferson County schools. It was successful. We have been with this new protocol for safety almost a little over a year, and so we like that instead of having levels of lockdown, it's just so one color. Nobody has to remember. There's just four different things you have to know to either evacuate or anyway, and that's new also. It's going well. We do safety drills more than we did before. You have to. I feel like we have a target on our back, so safety is. It's our daily conversation. We have other protocols, behaviors in how to go about. And I tell you, the most exciting thing that's coming up is, and I like to promote this company because I've never seen a concept like this. They're called E3, and they map out your campus. I was sharing with our advisory council. So you can, with one click on the cell phone, I can put all our 3 buildings on lockdown and mode, and then the teachers will have to just on their personal location let me know that they're safe wherever they are in the campus, and I can quickly, it will turn from red to green, and I can see those 2 folks that have not perhaps reported back, and there's a texting mechanism, but it gives an alarm, an Amber Alert. So even if you're teaching, your phone is going to go off. It's going to be a loud scenario. So we are implementing that. Right now we're receiving the training. Hopefully by next month we'll have those vestibules and we'll have this new application. It kind of replaces your phone tree, which is a little bit unreliable, for folks to remember in a chaotic situation who to call.
Sure.
And then we have the radio system. So we do have extra protocols, and I feel really good about our plan right now, and it's very unfortunate that our heart goes out to these 2 teenagers, for I don't know how you prevent that, but but we are working on preventing everything that might be preventable.
I also want to take a moment and compliment Principal Byrd on her leadership when it comes to safety at the schools. She's really taken that on quite well and has made our campus much safer. One of the things that she mentioned, but she just could have brushed over it, I think is really important. We're going to be installing facial recognition systems into
thank
each
you.
of our buildings,
100%, yes,
so
that's coming.
parents and students can enter if the system recognizes them. But if you're not recognized, the door system will lock automatically and stay locked. And if
That's in May,
and if there's
yeah.
an intruder in any way, the system is also programmed to inform the authorities right away and to lock everything down in the school. So we're investing an enormous amount of money into that particular technology, but we feel that facial recognition will keep our students much safer.
Right. We do love that because, you know, the days in which you have the secretary will have a picture of the persona non grata or those who are not allowed in the building behind her keyboard. How long do you think she can retain these features of these folks who are not allowed, you know?
So what's
so
the procedure?
this does that.
Let's say Delegate Height, in his official capacity, were invited to come and speak to a class or meet with some of the staff or that sort of stuff. So Delegate Height shows up, and his face is not recognized. And bang, the door slams on him. What's the procedure whereby he can get in?
We have to upload it. He has to show ID, and then the main strap we have to create. And this takes a few seconds. A
Okay.
quick profile after he has been identified himself, you know, onto the facial recognition system, and then that's how in the future then you will be welcome, you know. But
the
yes,
teacher-
everyone for the first time, everyone has to
And
be
the procedure
uploaded.
is the teacher has to let us know in advance that they're having guests.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
So and then the secretary who will be Maria calls it the man trap. And I get such a kick out of that. But it's actually we're having foyers built in each of the buildings
entrances, right.
that
Yeah.
basically is bulletproof and also keeps people in one spot if the
It's
system is
shatterproof.
triggered.
Yeah.
If it's triggered.
It helps, right? And I just want to recognize that we do have a donor who, his children went to St. Francis Central in Morgantown, and that's where he hired the developers, you know, of this system. And until all of the Catholic schools of the Diocese of Will and Charleston have an opportunity, he does not want to sell it to the public school system, which will be next. And I hope so. I think we will. So he is donating the installation and the equipment. We're doing all the electrical work to prepare and receive, and then our parents are cooperating
Well, and
with
we're
us to pay
creating
the
Maria's
fees.
man traps.
Yes.
Are you going to put a sign up that says Maria's Man Trap?
Yeah, as a
Oh,
matter of
boy.
fact, that's right.
No, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the funding, how you pay for all these things? Is it from tuition you're getting at the school? Is
That's
it
a
through
great
the
question.
parish? Is it through the diocese?
So we do receive funding. God is good. We are provided by many means. So it changes from year to year, but we are certainly recipients of some endowments. These are folks who perhaps attend the Catholic school who are just generous enough to leave a little something, you know, for the future of our institution. We do fundraisers. Our gala event, I like to promote that, is on March the 8th. You know, you can just call our office and get tickets. It'll be a nice, fun event, and everyone is invited. But anyway, back to, so we do fundraisers all year round, and then our parents also pay fees. So some of our fees include a health fees because we have to have a nurse on staff, and it includes a security fee that helps to pay for these things. Because we didn't have a security fee up to this current school year, last year we had to fundraise. I mean, and it was beautiful. When I wanted to put that film on the exterior doors right after the other Tennessee shooting, that was so unfortunate last year. You know, we fundraised in 3 days. We had the money we needed to do that project. It was wonderful. So our parents definitely do that. But if you look at our financial scorecard, you can see that it costs us more to educate the children than the tuition we charge. So I just want to highlight that too, because we are able to receive from many donors and charitable institutions that help sustain the work we do. We are still able to charge less tuition than what it costs us to educate.
What is the tuition this year, or what will it be for? And will the high school tuition be more than the grade school tuition?
Oh, high school.
Yeah.
The bigger the kid, the more expensive that kid is. So obviously, in the high school, our tuition will be $10,500 a year, which is considerably lower than other Catholic high schools in the region, by far. But I think we're around
Compared to
7.
6,800 plus, if you had the 7,300 is what you were paying
Yeah,
today.
7,300
For the K through 8,
the K through 8.
right.
And
Yeah.
and that's before the Hope Scholarship potential
Correct.
funds, the Hope
Which
Scholarship.
is going up. So the Hope Scholarship, this is being a beautiful blessing for us because now more parents can access our education. And for the next school year, it just went up from $4,900 to about $5,600. So it's going up by $700 per pupil. And that's going to make a big difference with accessing St. Joseph schools. So, yes.
It's my understanding that St. Maria Goretti in Hagerstown closed. Is that correct?
Correct.
That is correct.
So do you think maybe that there's an opportunity for more students than you might have otherwise had because that school closed?
I think that, I can tell you factually that it was a catalyst for us to do what we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that we a lot of our students, not a lot but a good chunk of our students went to St. Maria Goretti after they graduated from our 8th grade. When that was cut off, it took us a year to get our act together, but we are now in a position where we can open our doors to those parents who desire the type of academic education that we'll be offering and faith education we'll be offering.
Do you have students who bounce around much when a kid enrolls at St. Joe's and goes in school starting in August? Do they typically finish the school year there, or do some of them float back and forth between public schools and such?
We do have, I'm going to say the majority right now are going to public schools. Now, again, we didn't have this opportunity. So I'm curious to see how it's going to change this flip-flopping,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
So if you have kids that started maybe their first year enrolling in a Catholic school, and then after a month or two they go, you know what, this is just for whatever reason,
sorry,
this
then I
isn't for me.
misunderstood.
Yeah.
We don't have much of that.
Not
we
at
don't
all.
have much of that because the beautiful thing, and I want our parents to know, is that yes, we have tuition, but we also have assistance. So right now, the enrollment opens up alongside with the diocese tuition assistance program. It's called a TOP application, and it's for Catholics and non-Catholics. And then in addition to that, we have our own adopted students. So the first thing I do is if a student is going to leave due to financial reasons, then we offer support, So that's the way about it. Now, if they were dissatisfied for something else, that's a different story, but we don't have much of that.
Yeah, the attrition rate is only about 4% year to year.
In terms of discipline in public schools, this has become a very big and a contentious point for teachers in regards to how to discipline students, because it's become more difficult
Sure.
with how that's working out. What's it like for you folks?
We don't have many disciplinary major problems. I don't want to say that we don't have any, but I think the approach we have something called the virtue in education from the Dominican sisters, and what we do is we teach this virtue every week, all the time. I think you don't go too far with a child to ask him. You can discipline and punish, but you don't go too far by saying, why did you do it? What were you thinking? What you want to do is to teach the opposite of this behavior and anticipate, to teach, to speak the language of virtue, patience, understanding, kindness, and that's what we do, and it works really well. So we issue the merits. And I wish this is a very easy system that could be replicated by our wonderful public schools educators. I recommend highly to, you have to have consequences for bad behavior. You can't just reward everything. We can't reward not to do the wrong thing. We have to also discipline the wrong behaviors, and our parents are wonderful. So we don't have that problem. If something inappropriate was to happen, I have a phone call away from the parents, and not to say that it's always an easy conversation, but we have full support from them because that's why their children are with us. So I think we have a common understanding of what the children are supposed to behave, and they're expected to be good and to do the right thing, and if they're not, we're going to talk about the virtue. We're not going to talk about
And
the vice.
beside, you have your ruler.
We have our ways. No corporal punishment anymore in Catholic schools.
No, they don't know? These kids don't know what they're missing.
As a
know.
public school educator for 33 years, before I worked for the parish, one of the things that I do observe that is very different is how intensely our school treats parents as partners. That is one of the keys to our discipline issues not being as severe as I see in my public school experience. Parents really are the key to those discipline issues. We've taken in some kids that have had a really rough time in whatever institution they came from, educational institution they came from, private or public, and we take them. And we work with them, and I'm amazed that in just a few months' time, a lot of time, how they grow.
Yeah. If I could ask real quick, you mentioned your background as a public school administrator.
Yep.
Why is it you think that public schools don't treat parents as partners as much as a school like St. Joe?
Well, I think that's almost a century worth of experience. That a lot of times public schools became a place for daycare and education, and parents who had to work, and we have parents like that too. Both parents work full time. They sort of kind of gave up that authority to the schools and trusted the schools to do the right thing for their children. And I think that was shaken during COVID, when parents saw what was actually going on at schools because they were watching the same educational process the kids were getting from their schools, and that's what caused, I think, a lot of the backlash that's going on now. But I think over time it was just a slow relinquishing the parental authority to the schools, and the schools obviously kept that authority, and it's very hard now to gain that back. It's almost like you have to start over, and when you send your child to a school like ours, it's basically you have a chance to start over. You can then regain that authority, and we respect that authority immensely.
So it sounds like to me that you might be saying that if the public school system or individual public schools, when the kid would enroll, if the school would reach out to the parent and say, hey, we want you to be a partner. Here's how we do this. Here's how you contact, have more of an actual outreach to communicate to the parent, that might at least go a long way toward fixing that problem.
I've seen that to be a huge help. What is really key, and this is something I did a lot when I was in New York, is choice schools. When parents choose to send their child to a school, they are much more assertive, and rightfully so, and much more involved with the life of that school. When it's just the school that we paid our taxes to send our kids to, and it's really their responsibility. My day is over. I just dropped them off. Good luck.
Right.
But if I had to go now choose that school, I think choice is a huge part of regaining parental authority.
Got about a minute left, Mike. I don't have time for that question.
Oh, okay.
My apologies.
sorry.
Principal Maria Byrd, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The fundraiser again, your gala, how do you get tickets for it?
Yes, just call. Well, we have a website set up inside our website, but if you can just call Meg Partington, she will direct you. And then we're also taking sponsors and recognizing our sponsors for this event. So do come out and support us. And just want to give a big shout out to all the educators that are trying to do what they can during these winter days. And I know it's difficult, and I know parents are upset. And I just want to say my heart goes out to you, all the families and all the educators that are trying to do their best to produce some online learning, which is never ideal. So hang in there.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Deacon Pat, thank
Bless
you.
everybody. Thank you.